In last week's episode of the Epic Family Road Trip, we drove from Seward, Alaska to the Matanuska Glacier before beginning the drive back south to Alberta. We crossed the Yukon Territory to northern British Columbia before crossing into Alberta, where we drove south to Jasper National Park. This week, after making it to Jasper National Park and camping the night in the Overflow Parking Campground, where we enjoyed a breathtaking sunset, we headed out to do a hike in the park with our relatives who live in Alberta.
I'm not even holding on!
What? That's crazy.
We went up to the Jasper Skytram, which is the highest and longest aerial tramway in Canada that goes to a height of nearly 2,300 meters above sea level and up the side of the Whistler's Mountain. At the top, we hiked the Whistler Summit Trail, which takes about 30 to 45 minutes and is well worth it. Along the way, we saw epic views of Mount Edith Cavell and Mount Robson in the distance, which is the tallest mountain in the Canadian Rockies. We also saw marmots scurrying around the mountain that are known to make the whistling sound that the mountain is named after. After that, we went back down the Skytram to hit the mountain bike trails. We did a beautiful bike trail through the park that took us along rivers, through wilderness, fields, and up the hillside where we stopped for a break.
Costco.
Without any roads. This 3-month trip was an adventure. Wow.
After resting for a bit, we hurried back down the trail because the weather that was coming started to look and sound quite ominous. After an epic time in Jasper, we drove 4 hours southeast to Banff National Park. About 30 minutes outside of Jasper is Athabasca Falls, where we stopped to walk and view the powerful and beautiful waterfall on the upper Athabasca River. We then continued south to Banff along the world-famous Icefields Parkway. The Icefields Parkway is a 232-kilometer stretch of road between Jasper and Banff National Parks in Alberta that is rated one of the top most beautiful drives in the world, and for good reason. We drove along the soaring Rocky Mountains, ice fields, valleys, and crossing the Continental Divide. We joke that you have to be prepared for a sore neck after driving on the Icefields Parkway because you will constantly be looking up and all around you at the endless, staggering mountain views and deep, sweeping valleys. Along the drive, you also get to see the surreal views of many vibrant blue glacial lakes and rivers. When we arrived in Banff National Park, we were excited to hike some of the beautiful trails that the park has to offer. On the way to our first hike, the boys entertained themselves while waiting for Mom and I to be back from the grocery store.
Okay, so what are these? They're called
Bean Boozled jelly beans or whatever. It's either a good flavor or really gross flavor.
Like one of these two is dog food and the other one's
And they both
chocolate
look the
pudding.
same, you can't tell?
Yeah, you can't tell.
Alright, give her a try. Which one, right or left?
Try it, go.
This one.
Do you have to chew on them or just...
Yeah,
You have
eat
to
them.
chew on 'em.
You have to eat them all the way or else.
Okay, go,
Let me
ready?
roll down the window
Go.
though. Could you roll down my window? Mine. Oh my goodness.
There you go.
Yum.
Oh, you got canned dog food. You have to eat it.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Ew, I can smell the dog food.
Ugh. So the other one you know is going to be good?
No,
Oh,
you
no.
don't know. It could be bad again. Here, I'm gonna try this one. It can either be
That's
toothpaste,
disgusting.
toothpaste or berry, whatever. Either one isn't too bad, but. Oh, it's toothpaste. Tastes like crushed.
Well, that was the bad one, but it's not as bad as canned dog
Try
food.
it.
I knew that one was gonna.
What?
Oh, there's more
Spit it
brown.
out. It's poisonous.
There's more brown ones. Okay, this one is either gonna be.
Lime or lawn clippings.
Either one's good.
Lawn clipping. What is it?
Lime.
Oh, nice.
Your
Oh,
turn.
it's either sticky socks or tutti frutti.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eat up.
Might want to roll down his window.
oh, tutti frutti, good.
I keep on getting all the bad ones. Here, Dad, roll down his window as well in case he gets.
Right, Nick, try it.
let me read. I'm gonna try either.
It's
See,
either.
this is gonna be coconut or baby wipes.
Try it. Baby wipes. Oh.
Our first stop was at the Johnston Canyon hike. Johnston Canyon is a fairly easy and popular day hike that provides many beautiful views along the walk through the deep limestone canyons, wilderness, and along the vibrant river and waterfalls. That night, we camped at the Tunnel Mountain campground and got ready for our next hike up Mount Temple. Unfortunately, we lost most of our footage that we filmed during this hike back in 2016, but nonetheless, it was an amazing hike that we hope to do again one day. The hike is on a 14.6 kilometer out and back trail with an elevation gain of 1,682 meters. The summit of Mount Temple is at 3,544 meters, but up in the mountains, the weather can change rapidly from good to bad, so we decided not to attempt the summit when the wind picked up and we saw some heavy snow blowing in. So we headed back down the mountain, but promised to come back and attempt the summit again one day. We would soon need to be heading east across Canada back to our home province of Ontario. But first, we drove an hour west out of Banff National Park to Golden, British Columbia. In Golden, BC, we wanted to try one of the famous biking trails. We decided to do the Moonraker Trail. This is only a 1.3 kilometer trail, but worth every minute. We stopped at the southern end of the trail at the Canyon Creek Overlook. At the overlook, we rested and looked out at the canyon and the creek that flows 200 meters below. We then began the drive 1,860 kilometers east to Ontario, where we would be selling our house before embarking on the next leg of our journey, living full-time on the road. We drove from Golden, British Columbia through Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba before finally crossing into Ontario. Stay tuned for episode 11 of season 1 of the Epic Family Road Trip, where we begin preparing for our next epic adventure, living on the road for nearly half a year in New Zealand with only our Jeep.